Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be talking about this book called A Curse of Dark and Lonely and the 5 reasons I love it. So first off, before we get into the 5 reasons, I do want to thank Bloomsbury for sending me a copy of this book in advance. I was so happy when I found out the premise of this book was Beauty and the Beast with a character with cerebral palsy. And as a person who has cerebral palsy, I was so hyped for this book. And just to receive a copy, to read it early, like, look, I tabbed like a lot of stuff, and just this book was fantastic. So thank you so much, Bloomsbury. The first reason that I love this book is the rep. Oh my god, I've been craving rep like this since I was a kid, and the majority of the rep I had to see was in other disability stories, like I Hear the Sunspot, which you call to death, because those do have scenes which I relate to, but none to the nth degree that this was. This particular main character has a form of unilateral cerebral palsy, which means that only one side of the body is affected or one limb is affected. And I could go into the whole cerebral palsy thing, but there's a video up there that I did that explains it. And most depictions of cerebral palsy is bio-cerebral palsy, which means that the whole 2 limbs or the whole body is affected, where this is just one limb. And it was so good. Like, the book itself, the Prince Ren actually asked Harper, have you been injured? And that scene made me feel so insane, because god damn it, that is a question I get asked so much. It's like, sweetie, how'd you hurt yourself? And just to see that in a book, oh my god, it was fantastic. I loved the rep in this. Harper was not the main character of cerebral palsy. She was just a character who had a disability, and they treated it as a mundane thing, as when many people grow up with this sort of stuff, it becomes a mundane thing. And I just like how they left enough room for Harper to talk about it, but it wasn't the main focus of her character. It was so good. And like, there was one scene where I cried, literally, when she was explaining that, you know, she had surgery to fix her legs and that she's really lucky. And I straight up cried at that. I will leave my reading vlog as well, because I reacted to this, but I cried tears of joy, because it was like finally me in ink and paper that isn't my own stories that I've written up, and that was fantastic. Number 2, the side characters were hilarious. Now, I am going to say that I love side characters. While I love main characters as well, side characters can make or break a story for me, because if your main characters aren't like interesting, the side characters can pick them up. But our main characters were already pretty fantastic and fun, but just Gray was the best. He was a hoot. I loved him. He was so funny and so down to earth. He was just a great character. There was one bit where Harper and Gray were playing cards. Harper leaves to go to bed, and then Ren, who is the princely character, he asked Gray, how'd you get her to sit down and play cards with you? Did you enamor her? Did you, like, you know, trick her or anything? And Gray just pointedly looks at him and says, no, Your Majesty, I sat down and I asked if she wanted to play. Mic drop, boom, great, best character. I loved him. I'm so excited for the sequel, where hopefully Gray's going to appear, and I'm just, yeah. Also, Harper's brother and his boyfriend were fantastic. Like, they come later in the book, but just Noah, who is Harper's brother's boyfriend, he was an absolute riot. I loved him. I loved him to bits. I want to see more of him. He was so cute. He was so cute and witty and funny, and it was just, the side characters were awesome. I also liked Freya, who became Harper's handmaiden, and like one of the guards who became Harper's guard as well. Oh my god, like, all the side characters were really well done. Number 3 was the world. This world was so well developed, so lush, you could see everything, and like, it was built up around the characters. Emberfall and Iron Rose were really magical, but seeing the kingdom outside of the palace and seeing them traverse the kingdom to build up support for one of the plot points in this book was fantastic. And it was so vividly described. It was well described. I just could imagine everything, and I was so in love with it. Number 4, the plot changes. Oh my god. I love Beauty and the Beast. It's one of my favorite fairy tales. I love the Disney version, and I read translations of the original. This one though, I absolutely love this. Diverges from the story as the Enchantress did curse, but it was only after the prince had, rebuffed her that she cursed him, and she keeps coming back to torture him night after night. Yet, I can't explain to you how fascinating that was. And then the castle, everything resets, all the beds are remade, all the food is restocked, and I just loved it so much. And the darkness that's in the story was so good. And then Ren's curse, specifically to him, was just out of left field, and I loved it so much. And finally, number 5, it just tied itself together so seamlessly. I must admit that there are some books where when they've got a lot of plots going on, there's a romantic plot between the two characters, there's the fighting back against a queen who wants to take over Ember 4 plot. When you've got a lot of plots up in the air, it can be hard for a single book to sort of mesh them all together coherently, but Bridget did a fantastic job. There was not a moment where I was like, oh, can we skip over the romance and get to the invasion plot, or can we skip over the Harper wanting to get home to help her brother plot? All these elements just worked really well together, and for none of the moments that I was reading this was I like, I don't really want to go back to DC and to her mother and to her brother who need help. I was enthralled by all of it, and it just worked so well together. So those are the 5 reasons why I loved A Curse of Dark and Lonely, and I think that you should pick this up. I love it, and I am so excited for the sequel to come out because I need more. So my name is Maisie, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.